We are live. How about that?
Hello, live people.
You know what I'm going to do before we start is send out a link so that people can
Cool.
find us while we chat about this stuff. So, there's an event page and a YouTube page. There's like a million pages to share. I wonder what's going to happen to Google Plus with Vic, whatever his name is, leaving.
Yeah, I don't know. Seems like, so many people talk about Google Plus being dead on arrival.
I like Google Plus.
I do too.
All right, I am tweeting. Tweeted.
Yes, you are.
Look at that.
Coming through. Look at
I
that.
love that. You imagine the infrastructure it takes to get
Yeah.
that to work like that.
Yeah, pretty crazy, huh?
It's just remarkable. All right, we will start in 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Behind the Video. This is episode 97, and joining me, as always, is our co-host, Tim Street from LA. How are you doing, Tim?
I'm doing well, thanks, Lon. Looks
Good.
like there is a lot of stuff going on in the web video world.
There is it's like a whole business is just like blossoming before our eyes, or a big industry is, I should say. So all sorts of stuff happening. It's been a very big week. So I guess we'll start with this email we got from Stream Daily. This is one of those sites that covers all the latest news, and there's like a ton of stuff here. So let's start with off the top here. Maker partners with Comedy Central's Key and Peele. So
Yeah. So
go ahead.
those
So
those guys have a great show on Comedy Central, but they used to be on a show called Mad TV
right,
with Lisa Donovan, aka Lisa Nova, who is one of
right.
the founders of Maker Studios. So they're going to launch a new web series with Maker. So that's kind of exciting, and um, they're also telling us about College Humor.
So College Humor, Coffee Town matriculates to HBO. It almost feels like so if you want to be, if you're on TV and you want to get on YouTube, you probably want to partner up with one of these multi-channel networks that knows how to do it, right?
Seems that way.
And if you want to go the other way, what happens?
Well, you get picked up. I mean, one
Yeah.
of the things that happened this week is the Fine brothers struck a deal with Nickelodeon. So they're going to have a show, just got greenlit by Nickelodeon, kind of based on Kids React. So it'll be like a React show, which is really cool. And then there's other folks, where like Michelle Phan, she's had, this huge makeup channel. And I think she's been with an MCN before, but now she's going to go with Endemol Beyond USA. And that's something that Will from Maker, he went over there and started that. He's president of that. And she's launching something that'll go into TV. So, look at that. There's a lot of back and forth. And look what's happening with Vice.
So they're going to launch a sports channel ahead of the World Cup, and this is going to be an online thing, right?
Yeah, these guys are phenomenal. I mean, they are just on fire. They've got this show Vice on HBO. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's kind of like what 60 Minutes would be if cool guys were producing it instead of old stodgy,
I've seen some of their
news
stuff.
people.
Yeah,
It's
it's really
amazing,
edgy, right?
really edgy, but like it just feels like they follow the truth as far as they can follow it.
And I think didn't some of their guys get detained in the Ukraine or something just
They
a couple
they did. They just
Yeah.
had one of their guys that they said he was a CIA spy, and they held him for a little while, and then they let him go. It's not as easy as being a Wall Street Journal uh,
Right.
video magazine person, which is another thing that's going on.
Right. So Wall Street Journal introduces a digital magazine, and they're going to be expanding custom video production for advertisers with studios in Hong Kong, London, and New York. Is there enough people to watch all this stuff? I mean, this is the problem, right? There's just
It
it's
does
so
feel like.
disambiguated, right? Like where do we
Yeah, but
find
the other thing is that it's highly targeted, right?
Right.
So right now the advertising dollars are below television,
Hmm.
but they're above banner ads.
Right.
And so I think we're going to see them rise above TV because it's way more targeted than TV. But what it'll boil down to is it going to move the needle?
Right.
If all of a sudden, Vice's new sports channel gets people to sporting events or gets them to go to the movies or gets them to do something, then it becomes really valuable because they have a targeted audience that they can motivate to go do something. So I mean, everybody is getting into this space right now. I mean, Hulu right now, they're planning to do a triple spend on originals over the next year. This story comes to us from tubefilter.com, so you can go there and check it out. But Hulu wants more customers to notice its lineup of original programming, and the upfronts have been going on. That's digital videos or web videos, their play on the upfronts. So the new fronts are going on, and the upfronts are where TV advertisers TV networks sell their advertising ahead of time. They sell it
Right.
up front. They take that money and then they go make the TV shows over the summer and launch them in the fall. That's the old model.
Right. New model is
And
prove it.
that,
Right.
yeah, is prove it. And so the digital channels, the Hulus, the Netflix, well, Netflix not so much because they don't have advertisers, but Xbox, AOL, they're all out there, going after that same advertising dollars. And for the web video space, for the digital space, it's about a $2.8 billion a year advertising market, whereas TV is like a 70 or 80 billion dollar. So quite a ways to go yet to compete with television. So TV's far from dead in terms of advertising dollars, but right now there's a bunch of little mice chomping at
Right,
the
chomping at the
heels.
heels, and
You
they
know,
can scale up to a degree that these dollars for video advertising. I mean, this is going to come from somewhere. So it's
yeah,
likely TV. Is
and
it
think
banner
about it.
ads? Like,
You think about it. Let's say that you are a video game maker.
hmm
Are you going to advertise on television to get video gamers to buy your new video game, or are you going to advertise on Xbox Entertainment? Xbox Entertainment Studios unveiled full original programming slate. And again, this one comes from TubeFilter. Over the past few months, Xbox Entertainment Studios has revealed its first wave of original programming in drips and drabs at the Digital Content New Fronts. Microsoft President and Entertainment Nancy Tellern, I think is her name. I don't know her. And EVP of Programming, Jordan Levine. Jordan, by the way, used to be at the WB, and then he went to Generate, and now he's at Xbox. But they had a handful of Xbox originals. Now, the interesting thing about all these originals is I heard John Horn from the LA Times talking about this with Kim Masters, who does they do a great podcast called The Business on
hmm
KCRW. So
Oh,
if you
sure.
get a
Yeah,
chance to
I've heard
download
that.
that, it's great. They're talking about this and how with the TV upfronts, the folks there show what they're going to be, what you're going to be spending your money on, and most of these digital content networks didn't have much to show this year, and so John was a little poo-pooey on the digital folks for not showing. It was more, hey, if you invest your money, we're going to do this, which I think is pretty bad for the digital places. They should have had reels put together. They should have been showing content that was available.
Now let me ask you this, Tim, because this is a time when we're getting close to college graduation season, right? Everyone's getting ready to clear out of school, and I do this thing every year where I go to speak at my alma mater about changes in media, and I'm up there with incumbent media people. So where I live in Connecticut, of course, ESPN is the home base, and everybody wants to work at ESPN. And I always go up and say, hey, there's other things out there. Maybe you should think about going independent to some degree or another. If someone's out there looking for work right now, you work in this field, in this independent video space, there looks like there's some tremendous opportunities here, right? That people should be looking at. Are they?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, the big question is, do you want to work for somebody else or do you want to work for yourself? Because right now, there's an opportunity. If you're passionate about something, go make a YouTube channel that's like that. But don't make it a TV channel on YouTube. Make it a YouTube channel. And what I mean
Right.
by that is go look at the top YouTube channels. See how they're cut. See how they're shot. They're not TV. It's not something you could get on television. The production value is different. It's still emotionally engaging. It still has information that you care about, but it's not TV. And I think that's where a lot of people from film and a lot of people from television, they make something that looks like TV, that looks like a film, and then they just dump it on YouTube, and it fails miserably every single time. You need to pay attention to the medium that you're working on. You wouldn't make a radio show for television, so don't make a TV show for YouTube.
And there's a very and it's hard to even describe it, right? Because there is something, the stuff that just works or it doesn't work. I think it's recognizing, where those things occur. And
There's a different vernacular
mm,
for a YouTube show. There's a different cutting. There's a different pacing. I mean, our podcast goes up on YouTube, but we don't get a lot of views there because it's
no,
an audio show.
right.
We do it live, and some people tune in while they're, sitting at their desk, chained to their cubicle, and watch it because we force them to.
Yeah,
But
that's right.
other people listen to us in their cars, and I think that's a much better way to consume this type of content.
I would agree, especially given that it is long form just doesn't seem to work all that well on YouTube, and I think it's going to improve as it gets easier to watch stuff in the long form format. But you're right, it's a very different thing, and what's nice about it is that you can experiment without paying a lot of money. What I found personally is that the least time I spend on something, the more views it gets, and that's just kind of counterintuitive, but it seems to be where things are going. It looks like BuzzFeed has kind of figured that out too, Tim. 1 billion views in 18 months.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they drive me nuts because they always have this list of, the 10 things that, blah, blah, blah. But they do have Zay Frank, and Zay Frank's one of the original video or vloggers, video bloggers, and he's just amazing. Super, super smart guy and really talented, great voice, and they do their homework. They have a team of producers that pitch ideas. They come up with the best ideas, and then they take a look, are those ideas things that are being searched for, and then they make the videos based upon what's a cool idea and are people looking for it.
And it's very
And
shareable stuff too.
is it shareable? Absolutely. They're really good at that. And Zay Frank was at the upfronts, and he talked about the secret sauce, in broad strokes as to what they're doing to get those kind of views. So things look really good for BuzzFeed, really good for YouTube, not so much for folks in Atlanta.
No, and that is because CNN is cutting 50 positions in digital and in TV as it restructures once again. The 24-hour news business is just impossible, and because it's the quality has gone down. They've been searching for this airplane that no one's going to find, and they've devoted a lot of airtime and bandwidth to it, and it's just not getting anywhere. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what's up with that? So it looks like they're.
We needed Spider-Man. That's all I got to say.
And you know what, too? This is, I think, speaks to how media is changing. Yeah, we need Spider-Man. But this speaks to how media is changing because of the fact that, for a while, that was the only place you could get 24-hour news. Now, do you need to sit there live talking about nothing for 23 hours out of the day? Or could you shut the whole thing down and just run it on YouTube? But you can make The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Tim, and bring in $37 million bucks for a $90 million box office weekend. And this is the reboot of Spider-Man, right? This is the second in the rebooted series.
Yeah, I think so. I can't keep track. I don't even know. I don't even know who Spider-Man is. It feels like I feel like, didn't they just remake Spider-Man and now they're remaking the remake of Spider-Man? What?
I know. Well, even like the Total Recall thing we talked about a few months ago, it's just crazy. Like I feel like either we're getting old and the stuff that we had as kids is now being rebooted, which is really the case. But I mean, it seems like we've been through like 3 reboot cycles now of like Batman and and Spider-Man, including not counting the ones that we had on cartoons as kids. So it's just a continual trudge there. So I had some interesting stuff over the time you were gone, Tim. I went to this great conference in New Jersey called it was called Reinventing the Local News Ecosystem, and quite a good turnout. It was a lot of New Jersey folks because it was in New Jersey at Montclair State University. Jeff Jarvis was there, among others, and was talking about how to get news back into local areas because it's so hard to monetize it. It's hard to get enough viewership to meet the CPM values and whatnot. And there was a lot of good exchange of ideas. There's actually some foundations out there, the Knight Foundation and the Dodge Foundation, really trying to help people try to figure all this stuff out. And it was pretty intriguing. But they had one panel where BuzzFeed was on the panel, and in addition to things being infinitely shareable, they also said that it's really critical when you're producing this kind of shareable content to help people recognize their own identity through the content. And if you look at the Tube Filter article about BuzzFeed's billion video views, one of the things they show is a video about lefties, right? And it's if you're a lefty, you're going to probably, lefty being left-handed, you're probably going to share this content with other friends because it's all the problems that you encounter as a left-handed person, and that's the sort of stuff that they do. Is they find ways to help people identify. You also can post your own stuff on BuzzFeed, which I wasn't even aware of. And you can post things into their CMS. You get full analytics, so you can see how your content is being found and consumed on there. I might look at doing that. The things I do aren't that funny, nor are they that identifiable because people are just looking for stuff to review for reviews of products and whatnot. But it's kind of a neat platform. I didn't realize it was accessible the way it is. So people might want to take a look at that. Have you ever posted anything on BuzzFeed, Tim?
I haven't, but last week I was at the cable show. And it was kind of weird there. It was held in LA, which I go to a lot of events, and I'm not a fan. Like this week, Digital Hollywood is here in LA. I'm just not a fan when it's in the town that I'm in because, like, then I have other stuff to do, and it just makes it tough.
Right.
But one of the things that I saw that was about getting your content out there that I thought was really cool. The browser Opera, right?
Yeah, sure.
So Opera has an app installed on a lot of new TVs, and that app makes video content available on a lot of these new TVs. Kind of similar to, Roku, how, Roku has Blip on Roku, right?
Right.
Well, Opera is installed on a lot of these new TVs, and if you have a show that's of a decent quality, I'm not talking about cat videos,
right.
Or just opening up presents,
right.
or something like that. But if it's a show and it has a channel feel to it, and you have it on Daily Motion, or you want to put it on Daily Motion as a channel, you put it on Daily Motion and then you submit it to Opera, and they review it, and if they like it, it goes out as your own channel. It doesn't go out as a Daily Motion channel.
Oh, that's awesome.
It goes out as whatever your brand is on the Opera platform.
And is that through Daily? So it's like it's powered through Daily Motion, but it's
powered through Daily
right.
Motion. So that's like all it's going to cost you is time to submit it and see if you can get on there. Now it's also available if you use Brightcove or Ooyala. So if you're paying for any of those services and you're really controlling your own video, another great way to get more eyeballs on your content.
I really need to get my button gear on Daily Motion because I've been meaning to put stuff up there. I've got a channel. I've got like one video on it, so I need to get my act together and put some stuff on there because that could be good. Now, can you monetize through this platform also?
Well, you can. They do have stuff. It's kind of a little sketchy.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those. It doesn't sound like anybody's really making money at it yet, but there's opportunity to get your stuff out there. I think if you're trying to build a brand and trying to get eyeballs, it's another way. And I would think the views are going to be extremely low because I never hear anyone talking about, I watched something on Opera
TV. Right,
it just doesn't happen. But
if you're there and people are looking,
there,
right?
Yeah, and nobody else is there, it just gives you a better pole position.
Because that's a lot like how when Google Plus started. There's a woman here in Connecticut who I was on a panel with who, just a musician kind of part-time, like she had dreams of doing more music but couldn't really get into it because of, family demands and all the other stuff. And she got on Google Plus early and had some talent, and people, she was one of the few musicians there when they started, and they all kind of flocked in there. There's another one, Daria Musk, is the same story. She's also from Connecticut, by the way. Just built a huge fan base because she was there and nobody else was, and I think that there's some value to that. Yeah, getting up there as early as possible. So pretty cool stuff. So I think I'm going to start playing around with Daily Motion more, just because I think it's good to have your stuff in two different places. That doesn't hurt your search thing, right? It's pretty. Yeah. So
I don't think so.
Yeah, and Daily it's very similar to YouTube and how you interact with it as a channel. So it's out there.
And if you have content that appeals to young men, I think Daily Motion is the place to launch it. There's definitely a lot of bikini and booty shaking content there.
And they're friendlier to video gamers also, which I know a lot of video game people have been having a hard time.
There aren't a lot of women gamers, are there?
No, there are not. Not at
Casual
least
gamers, there
casual
are.
gamers there are, but they don't
Yeah.
really watch videos about it. So,
No.
here's another neat tool I found, Tim. Have you tried? We may have talked about this a long time ago, but they've made it better. Social Blade. Have you seen Social Blade?
Social Blade's really good for getting analytics, isn't it?
It is, and what's nice, they've added this thing. I don't know if it's been in here forever or not, but they have a thing for future projections. So, this is something where if, for your own use, you could look at it and say, oh, cool, I'm growing, I'm not growing, or whatever. But you could also, if you're trying to get people or brands to like focus on you as a channel or invest some
Right.
time or money in you, they give you projections based on your current growth and views where you're going to be in 30, 60, 3 months, a year, 5 years.
Right.
So I'm looking at mine right now, and they said by the end of next month, I will be at 10,000 YouTube subscribers and over 3 million views.
And how
And
many do you have right now?
I've got about 7,800 subscribers and about 2.5 million views. So it seems to
Okay,
be
great.
pretty.
Let's check again each week.
Yes, we should.
Let's
We
make
should
this a
do that.
project. Let's put
See
this
how.
on the show.
Yeah, I'm going to
Um,
take some screenshots of this and see
yeah,
what.
so Social Blade is kind of cool. It's a tool that we use. Uh, I've been consulting with Showable Media, and so I've been helping folks who have, 100,000 views per month, somewhere in that neighborhood, give or take a few on either side, and bringing them sponsors. So if you have a channel that's somewhere in that neighborhood and you would like to make some money, just contact me on Twitter and let me know.
Well, that's an easy call to make, right? So
Yeah,
so how does this work? So if you have 100,000 or more views or subscribers.
views. Subscribers actually mean nothing.
Interesting. So and
Yeah, they mean a
because
lot. They mean a lot if you're on YouTube. It's
right,
part of YouTube culture, blah 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 blah.
right.
But sponsors don't care about subscribers. Sponsors care about how many people are going to watch this video when I put it up. So you could have 1 million subscribers, but if you're only getting 5,000 views a month, it doesn't matter.
And this is
And
separate
if
from like a
you're not
multi-channel.
regular either. Like if your channel doesn't put out a video on a regular basis, you're not valuable to a sponsor either.
Right, because they want their stuff in there. And I'm guessing these are like baked in kind of ads that you're doing, or
They are baked in. It'll
like.
be a mention at the top of the show and then
Mhm.
maybe a thank you at the end of the show. It doesn't have to be right at the top, but be in there.
And what's interesting about what you're talking about here, this is not a multi-channel network, so you're not like, giving up
No,
anything,
you're
right?
not giving up anything. You're just getting.
Which
All,
is
all you're giving up is your time to to talk on the phone for a little bit about the details, read a couple emails about the details, and then say in your own words what it is that the sponsor wants you to say.
so it's an
And it's
on-air
really up
read
to
kind of thing.
you. It's how it fits into your show. And some people, they don't feel comfortable talking about a sponsor or talking about something that they even like. You
Right,
know,
right.
it's just they don't want to have any advertisers in their show, but yet they magically want to make money. So I don't.
Yeah, in some ways, it's like the YouTube thing has made it a little too easy that this money just kind of flows in, and you don't have to really work to get a lot of it. But to grow that revenue, you've got to do more than just wait for it, because I think these CPMS are going to continually decline,
Yeah,
and
for a
it's going
little
to be
while
harder.
until it gets more targeted.
Right. Well, that's fascinating. So if people want to do that, they should just hit you at 1 Tim Street, and
Yeah,
you'll
at
give them
one
some.
Tim Street on Twitter, and I'll connect you. But if you've only got 5,000 views a month and you've put out 2 videos, probably not
Right. You've got to show
not time to
some.
talk yet.
Right, you've got to show some real stuff. And let me ask you this too, because this is like an interesting thing. The videos typically, at least on my channel, I get like almost 300,000 a month now. But when the video goes up, for a couple of weeks, we're only in the hundreds, right? And then it kind of picks up over time. Is there a value they recognize to that they're baked in permanently versus
Absolutely,
just being a pre-roll somewhere along the way?
absolutely.
So fascinating stuff. So that's something people should definitely check out as we move forward here. So Tim, we've been doing this show for 2 years this week. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. I would have thought we had a few more weeks to go, but it's wild.
Yeah, we launched it 2 years ago this week, and I was looking on my Time Hop, which is like an app that tells you what you were doing,
Hmm.
like this day, X number of years back.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been doing it for 2 years, and we are not yet, tying up our yachts together in like the luxurious vacation destinations. So we've got to
Let's work on that.
throw some revenue here.
Let's work on that for the next year. And are you going to go to VidCon?
I should probably go to VidCon, shouldn't I? I don't think I have a
Yeah.
ticket though.
No, see if you can get one. I'm going.
Oh, cool.
Make sure you go for Industry Day. That's a good one to
I'll
go
have to
to.
check that out because now, and am I popular enough that I can have my own autograph line, or is that something I have to strive for?
I think you need to strive for that one. You would have already been invited.
I would. Okay, I got it. So I need to work on that a little bit more. Well, maybe I'd have like the four guys that would be there would come by and
I
would
think if
sign.
you just make your videos a little more jump cutty, you'll be there.
That's what I got to do. You know what's funny about the jump cuts? 'Cause somebody asked me about this, and they were saying why. Oh, I remember what it was. One of my viewers wrote in and said, "Why do you like do a transition when you're about to cut something, right?" And I was like, I was thinking about this, like, yeah, why is that? Because typically everyone just does a jump cut and they're good. And what I usually do is say, all right, now I'm going to hook this thing up and we're going to take a quick whatever, right? And I do it because when I was in college, my TV production professor was like, drilled it into you, never do a jump cut. It is the worst thing in the world if you jump cut anything. It is the most unprofessional, horrible thing.
That
And
was
now
then.
this
That
is
was
now.
then. This is now. It's cool now.
Is that what it is? So
Lon, I give you permission to jump
do a
cut.
jump cut.
Let's
You know what-
see. Let's see. Let's do an experiment.
Yep.
Let's see if your views go up or down with the jump cut.
All right, I'm going to make a video specifically on this topic, and we'll see see how it does. Because even when I do have a jump cut, Tim, I've got to put in like the little transition
do it.
bloom thing.
Don't do it.
It's
Don't
like
do it.
it's like like the stories of like the private school with the nuns whacking your knuckles. I mean
Yeah,
that is
see,
what
you
it's
were
like to me. I'm
abused.
totally.
You were abused.
He was just drilling it into us, and
There are people that can help you, Lon.
all right, good. I'm gonna have to talk to the jump cut therapists, and we'll see where it goes.
Yes.
So we got to jump
Awesome.
out of here, Tim. But where can people find you and collect some money for their YouTube channel?
At One Tim Street on
So there you
Twitter.
go. So that you can make money from listening to this show. And you can find me at LONSEIDMAN on Twitter. We do the show now Mondays because we get a few more live viewers when we do it Mondays. So Monday at lunchtime Eastern, so 12 noon-ish, Monday afternoons, and that is 9 a.m. Pacific time if you're out there on the West Coast. And if you're in some other country, just run a Google thing and it'll tell you what time to watch based on what we're saying there. You can find our show at behindthevideo.com. And you'll get notified if you follow that thing whenever we go live, so you'll know when we're on the air. Or you can get us on Stitcher and iTunes and wherever good podcasts can be found. And a thank you
And
to
be sure to tag us anything behind the video. Hashtag behind the video.
and we'll check it out because a lot of times Tim might know people that are the subjects of these stories. So you can, if you can ask a question, Tim will try to find the answer for you. So
There you go.
it's good stuff. Well, that will do it for this edition of Behind the Video, and we are a wrap. All right, good show,
Thanks,
Tim.
Lon.
We will
Awesome.
talk soon. Yeah, VidCon. I should try to see. And the tickets are sold out for VidCon, right?